Mary Louise Kelly Memoir It. To Go. Non-Renewal Year. NPR. Scott Simon and Mary Louise Kelly talk about their new book, She's Going So Fast. The Year Without Renewal. Memoir looks at the balance of work and motherhood, intention and memory. Scott Simon, host. Most parents, especially mothers, have probably received a phone call from a school saying that your child is sick. Come get them. But what if you're boarding a Black Hawk helicopter in Baghdad? Mary Louise Kelly, our esteemed colleague and co-host of the program Everything Considered, writes in her new book, It Happens Too Fast. A Year Without Renewal. And my eyes filled with tears just reading the introduction. Mary Louise Kelly, BYLINE. Simon. Mary Louise Kelly joins us at our studios. Kelly. Thank you, Scott. Simon. What was it like getting a call like that? Kelly. Yeah, we're about to board a Black Hawk helicopter swarm. The phone rings. The school nurse tells me that her son is sick. He started to speak louder and said, I don't intend to bring him home. He's having trouble breathing. We must take him to a doctor or hospital immediately. I was trying to answer and the cell phone went off. We lost the signal. And I have to get on this helicopter. And I'll never forget to sit in Black Hawk and look at Baghdad traffic and wonder what I'm doing. I'm good at my job. I worked really hard to get here. I love my job, but my 4-year-old son needs me and I'm on the other side of the world. And I hit a wall. What do you do when two things you love and maintain conflict? Simon. Let's be clear, your son Alexander, he was 4 at the time, is now healthy and strong. Simon. But in parts of this memoir, an almost audible clock ticks. And as you said, you go from counting months to weeks and days. Kelly. Yeah. I really started thinking about writing this book when I realized that my oldest, James, was about to go into his senior year of high school. He was going to go out and spread his wings to the world, which of course is what you want, but it suddenly occurred to me, this is finite. You know, the number of nights my nuclear family will be under this roof is dwindling. And the example I keep coming back to is that James loved football since he could walk, and that was his job. And he was the first forward on the high school varsity team. And their games tend to be around 4 p.m. on weekdays. Simon. I think you have an obligation beforehand. Kelly. I have a shootout at 400 on weekdays, all things considered, until the minute it goes on the air. With hundreds of games out there, it was relatively easy to say okay, I'll be there next year. And then suddenly, I quit the later years and didn't do it again. And suddenly I thought, I'd rather cut off my right arm than miss another game. Simon. There's a phrase here, life is what we choose to see. Kelly. I ran into a competitor from another news organization that was covering the same national security incident as me. And when I met him, I was walking away from the newsroom for a long time to be with my kids, and it looked like that. So I was working like this. What? You had a banana in your hair or something, didn't you? Kelly. I had applesauce in my hair. Simon. Applesauce. Kelly. Reminding me. And he looked just the way he always did in this gorgeous suit and gorgeous heels. And we chatted for a few minutes. Simon. Then he gets in a taxi and goes to the White House for an interview. And it was a while before met him again, at which point I back at work, that bumped into him again on the pavement. He recognized me. We chatted for a few minutes, and as we turned to part ways, she said, you know, I cried all day after I last met you. Because you had everything. Everything was fine. She said no, you and your son were going to the park and today was a beautiful day. And had dropped my child off at daycare and, you know, I was on my way to do an interview with someone, forgot what it was about. So I was paying a stranger at the nursery to take my baby to the park. So I looked at him and thought, God, you and I both. We both get angry at ourselves for not doing the impossible. You cannot be in two places at the same time. Simon, you mentioned in the book that you have vantage of being a nanny and even a mother. Can tell us what it says to you when can see a football game? Kelly, it wasn't just any football game. The football game in question was James' final year. It was for the state championship. He scored with a head 3 minutes into the hour. That was the goal. Kelly, the goal he remembers, that our family remembers, school remembers. It was amazing. On the way home in the car, I called my mom, told her how wonderful it was, and she listened. And the first thing he said was not about James, the team or football. It was for me, for her own baby. And he said, you should see this because he knows how many missed goals and how important it is to see that goal. We have to explain, of course you did great reporting from Ukraine, but at some point quite recently you decided not to go back, right? Kelly, after my first rotation in Ukraine, I was asked to come back and, it's not quite clear when you're going to enter a war zone. And journalist in me was taking my suitcase off the shelf to pack it, and mother in me thought, yes, but unfortunately, there will always be a war out there. And there are other journalists who can write this, but no one else who can be a mother to this child. And it's only here for a few more weeks. And this is prom, exams, and the last time. And I thought, yes, should leave that out. Most of this book realizes that this may be the last time something. Simon, when we have children. Simon, yes, maybe things you can plan on a calendar, but you also don't know when the last time they'll be in your lap. Kelly, yeah, they're going to call you mom or dad instead of mom dad for the last time they've been teased at school. And I think about those moments. I remember, I didn't actually write about it, but it just occurred to me now. I breastfed both of my sons. And I remember, Alexander crawling out of my lap. And I remember very clearly where we were in house and where son was on windows, and I think it was last time. And you can let break your heart or you can let it lift your heart and think how beautiful is. How beautiful is this? Your book, sorry. Simon, this is, here the two of us, solid journalists. Kelly, oh, yes. Simon, I'm thinking of Emily Webb in our town. Does a person realize life while living? Every minute, right? Kelly, I don't know if I've found an answer to this, but I'll say this book is part of my attempt to wrestle with it and sit with it. Scott, the nature of what you and I do is wonderful, but temporary. I put on a show and there are days we succeed, days we fail. And in any case, next time we should get up and do another one. And a show 6 months ago could be 6 lifetimes ago. And wanted to really wrestle with the choices made in a year of my life, the deals made with myself, whether got right or wrong, wanted to be intentional about it and remember that let's stay. This book is just that. Simon, Mary Louise Kelly, her book, goes. So. The year of no overs. Kelly, it's going too fast. Thanks, Scott. Copyright 2023 NPR. NPR transcripts are created by an NPR contractor on a rushed line. Accuracy and availability may vary. The authoritative recording of NPR programming is the audio recording.